and gentlemen, welcome to Supernatural Selection. I'm your host, Kevin the Bastard. With me this week, as always, are Mike the Skeptic. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing holly and jolly in this post-Christmas fugue state.
Nice. And, of course, Mr. Undead David Davis, because I beat you to death with a shoe every week. How you doing, David?
I'm doing okay. I'm just wondering when the fucking apocalypse is going to happen. It's long overdue.
Dude, we are in the middle of it.
Don't worry, the super volcano's due to blow any day now.
Oh, man, if Yellowstone goes...
Yeah, the Yellowstone
I'm just waiting for the raining blood.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of birds flying into engines for that. So, once again, we have come to the Week in Weird, where we have rounded up some interesting stories from around the web to talk about. And I'm going to go ahead and go first with... this is an article, and the thing is, both of mine are sort of old news that have, for some reason, been making the rounds lately. We're going to start with this. Is from the Daily Mail. NASA looks to heavens for help. Agency enlisted 24 theologians to assess how the world will react to the discovery of alien life on distant planets and how it might change our perception of gods and creation. Now, Mike, you know a little bit about this and you did some reading. When did this actually start? Like a decade ago?
It's from what I understand, I read a few sources, but I can't recall them. But it's basically has been going on for decades, yes. But so the most recent one, though, was that NASA sponsored a symposium. I don't remember what year, but it wasn't this year. I think it was like 2018, something like that.
Yeah, and they pumped about $1.1 million into this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a symposium. It's not like they're hiring these people. They're just, it's for a bunch.
They had a meeting. They had a confab.
It's
preliminary talks.
It's a convention for a bunch of like-minded people.
Yeah, so it's Comic-Con for God nerds.
Yeah,
to talk about aliens,
and they do this for all kinds of fields. When they're talking about doing science missions with space
biologists and shit. Yeah, and
so
physicists and stuff like that. So of course they're going to get a bunch of God folk together. Now, the thing is, like I said, they pumped $1.1 million into putting this thing together, which has a lot to spend on cocktail hot dogs.
I don't know. That could be some really good cocktail hot dogs.
Depends if you go to Dollar Tree or not.
Yeah.
Wait, is that good or bad if they go to Dollar Tree?
I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd want Dollar Tree cocktail wieners.
Yeah, maybe Vienna's, but
I kind of want cocktail wieners. I'd have those.
I know. My God. I miss those things. My mom used to make them at Christmas.
It's always cocktail wieners or meatballs. I want both.
Yeah.
I want both the balls and the Okay, wait a minute.
Let's back up here. All right.
You're talking about the cocktail wieners, those little Smokies?
Yeah.
My mom's thing, what she used to do, she used to take the little Smokies, the cheese ones, wrap them in bacon, and then dip them in barbecue sauce and do those as hors d'oeuvres.
Oh my God.
And that is why I'm fat.
That's why I want to be fat. Jesus, that sounds amazing. You tell your mom I really appreciate her giving us that idea. Holy crap.
It is pretty damn good.
Yeah. So here's the thing. After reading this article and several others, the general thing, it was a years-long discussion, a lot of money thrown into this thing, and what they discovered is that some people are going to freak out and some people aren't.
Yeah, I like that. Just like some will be okay with it, which, makes sense with, looking at our media and sci-fi. We're kind of like expecting it any day now. Yeah,
but the thing is, literally, we know no more than we did before this started.
We know they're talking to them. That's
sure,
a sign.
Great, okay, they're talking all right. And I just, I feel kind of like, did we need to throw the money into this? Couldn't you have just figured that out from human nature?
Here's an interesting question. What do you think? What do you think would be the most accepting of if they came out and said, "Oh yeah, there are aliens"?
Catholics.
You know? Would it be the religious people, or would it be the atheists?
Here's the thing. I think you have to subdivide it. I think there's a group of atheists that are going to freak out because they're like, no, what? No. And I think that's more of, I don't think that's based on like them being atheists. I think it's based on like, it's a major worldview change. It's going to freak somebody out. But as far as groups that are going to accept it the most out of religion, it's the Catholics.
Because they're just batshit weird already?
No, the Pope like kind of prepped the way a little bit by having the Vatican astronomer, which I did not know they had one.
Well, kind of makes sense.
And he was like, "Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. God would make other people out there. Why would he not?"
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna have a problem with any group like not accepting the idea of aliens, it's gonna be like the evangelicals.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say the Southern Baptists. There is going to be a mass suicide,
or the super strict Muslims.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
I'm talking about like,
I think Islam actually, yeah. Islam says that there are other worlds.
Well, I'm talking about the branches that spawn terrorists.
Oh, the radicalized type groups.
That's what I'm talking about. The super strict.
You could say about radical Christianity. And
out of all of them, like basically like you said, the radicalized groups of any religion are gonna freak out. Now you know who's gonna be sitting there with a shit-eating grin on their face?
The saucer friends or whatever they're called.
No.
Oh, what?
Mormons.
Oh yeah.
I fucking told you, fighters. God's an alien.
Scientologists.
Battlestar Galactica is real.
God, Scientologists would just like. They'd be insufferable afterwards.
The thing is, they don't actually believe it. They would just be like, "Oh shit, how are we going to spin this?"
Yeah, I have this weird feeling it would be like, "Hello, we are from the planet Klongar in the 5th galaxy. We would like to open relations with your people, but first you have to kill the Scientologists. We've been monitoring your transmissions, and fuck those guys." In every group, I think there's going to be some people that freak out and some people that don't.
Would be the worst thing that could happen, though, if we found aliens?
What's that?
That if we found aliens and they have a religion that is strikingly close to one of ours.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't mind if it was like New Wave, like the universal consciousness. It's like, all right, you're insufferable pricks, great, whatever. But yeah, no, if it's like if they show up and they're Lathlicks,
or they're Mormons by another name.
Oh yeah, like Mormons.
Well, you know what I mean.
I know. I'm just
I hope that if they are like the space hippie type, that they bring some of that dank cosmic weed.
Oh yeah, man. Freaking Venusian nugs.
God, space drugs. You'd never stop.
Oh my God.
Nugs.
That would be great. I mean, like that's how they solve world problems. We just get so fucking high we can't deal. What happened to humanity? We introduced the good shit.
That Martian sticky.
Sticky, icky goodness from the stars. All right, Mike, what have you got, buddy?
So, out of the things I looked at, which is the most...
You totally already had. You didn't
totally
just look them up just now.
No, I will admit I've been doing some research while sitting here, but I had the general ideas.
No, my friend, I was covering for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll admit when I'm, doing this off the cuff, which is just about every time.
Yeah, I don't know that planning on this show is your strong suit.
So the biggest miracle in science that happened this week, well, actually last week technically, because it was on Christmas Day, which was a Christmas miracle, was the launch of the James Webb Space Telescope.
I'm excited about that.
So put it in perspective. this thing has been on the drawing board. Like, it was first selected, because the way NASA does it is they'll have a bunch of proposals, and they'll down select down to one mission profile. And they don't have, like, the hardware or anything mapped out at this point, but they have a vague, like, requirements and, what they want to accomplish. This was down selected in 1998. Ooh. You know what else was going on in 1998? No, 1996. I'm sorry. It was down selected 1996.
What was it, Mike?
The
what else
DLT was still being sold in markets up until 1998. So this thing predates the end of the McDLT.
It keeps the hot side hot and the cold side cold.
Thanks, Jason Alexander.
But which is kind of, synchronistic, because it is one of its fortes is it's an infrared telescope. So it has to keep its hot side hot and cold side cold, because infrared is basically heat. So any heat that gets through is just noise.
Yeah.
So it is. So a lot of people say it's the successor to this Hubble Space Telescope. It's kind of is and kind of isn't, because it does look in a different light regime than. Like I said, it's infrared, where Hubble was mostly visible light with some near infrared and some close ultraviolet.
Well, I mean, it is like a giant tube.
Yeah. But it's basically it was a repurposed NSA keyhole satellite. It was the actual structure and everything was built to, as a spy satellite to, look at the Earth and, look at Ruskies.
Well, that's fucking horrifying.
Yeah, but it was retired when they went to on a new generation. So they gave, what they had to NASA, which they repurposed to the Hubble, and, did great science with it. Because, a telescope's a telescope. You just have to, change your optics a little bit if you're looking, deeper out.
Right. And I mean, orbital telescopes are a great idea anyway, because you don't have the atmosphere to deal with.
You don't have atmosphere. You don't have, weather to deal with. Light pollution.
Birds.
Yeah, birds. Just everything. I mean, it does make things obviously a lot more expensive, because,
Sure, you got to get it there.
But, and if something goes wrong, you can't just, fix it, which we saw with, was it 3 Hubble servicing missions with the space shuttle? Mm-hmm. So, but the Webb telescope is infrared, because if you think about it, the further light comes from, to us, the longer light travels, because of a Doppler effect, it shifts into the infrared. So it's looking in infrared to see light that originally was visible back, billions of years ago.
Thank you, Carl Sagan.
Billions and billions of years ago.
Billions and billions.
Because the Hubble
meat planet.
The Hubble, in its ultra deep field surveys, was able to see back almost, I'm trying to remember the numbers, almost like 10 billion out of the almost 14 billion years we know the universe has existed. And so there's still, I'm surprised it actually was able to see back that far. Mm-hmm. So,
that always freaks me out, man. Just thinking about that is like, when you're looking into a telescope, you are looking into the past like that.
I know. It's awesome, humbling, and terrifying.
The fact that we've been able to see a majority of the universe's life, at least examples of it. Mm-hmm. And this will, because of and that's as far as it can see, because of this red shift in the light. So the Webb telescope will be able to look further and hopefully see residuals from the Big Bang.
Mm-hmm.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah.
But
it's freaky, dude. So freaky.
So and one of the reason this is so weird is because it, like I said, it's been trying to be built and launched for the better part of 3 decades. Mm-hmm. The running joke was the number of days since the Webb telescope has been delayed. I mean, it's just its number of delays is probably in the hundreds. It was delayed even once it was finished and transported to French Guiana, where it was going to be launched from. They still had an incident where it slipped off of one of its mounts.
I remember that.
And this was like, around Thanksgiving, it slipped off one of its mounts, so they had to check it out and make sure that didn't damage anything. I mean, it's just this ludicrous amount of not only cost overruns, budget overruns. This thing, I think it was originally slated to cost like $2 billion or something like that.
So what does the universe not want us to see then?
Exactly. But the cost eventually rose to over $10 billion.
Jesus.
But on a good note, so it's out there, seems to have been, perfectly inserted by the ESA's Ariane 5 rocket. It was put in such a perfect, I wouldn't say orbit, but it was so close to its ideal trajectory that they're saying that because it has to use its onboard propellant to keep it in its... Okay, so it's going to the L2 Lagrange point. Mm-hmm. Or is it L3?
No, it's L2. I saw it earlier. It's L2.
So, which is beyond the orbit of the moon. So it's basically orbiting the sun, but in the same velocity as the Earth. So it's always going to be on the outside of the Earth and sun and moon, but it's always going to be with us. But because of its orbit, it's actually doing a halo orbit where it's like out there circling around this point. It needs its thrusters to keep that orbit. It doesn't need a lot of fuel, but the more fuel it needed to get there, the less fuel to be able to have to stay there. And so because of this perfect insertion, they're saying its operational lifetime could be more than 10 years.
Nice.
And they said the worst case scenario, but still considered a success, would be 5 years.
Wow.
So
that's impressive.
Yeah.
I just the idea of being able to plop it into that sort of orbit and account for all of that, like these guys are geniuses, and like I wish I was as smart as they were.
Oh yeah, no. It's currently it is 378,000 miles from Earth, on its way out to its, like, I think it's almost 1 million miles. Its final orbit is. It's like 800, 900 something thousand miles.
Man, we're talking about distances that can only be expressed in love songs.
I would walk 500 miles.
And I would insert a satellite at 1 million. So here's 2 questions. Sure. All right. Number 1. Well, this isn't a question, but an observation. Somebody asked how it can see so far, and my first thought was, I don't know, it's a fucking longer tube. I understand now. But I was like, they just fucking, like...
They used a paper towel tube instead of a toilet paper tube.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's it.
Yeah, and, coming down to optics, obviously, it has a very large mirror. Like the Hubble telescope's mirror was roughly about the height of a man. It was about like 6 foot in diameter. This one, oh gosh, I wish I could remember.
I remember when they were making it, because like they talked about the fact that the mirror had to be, it's like it had to be poured lying down, and they had to go through all this stuff to make sure it was fucking perfect.
Well, the Webb telescope gets around that because it uses a segmented mirror. It's several sections. I don't remember how many, but they're all hexagonal, and each section is individually focusable and steerable.
Oh, that's awesome!
So there, you think about it, the mirror. Each hexagonal section actually has a motor that can pull on it to make it more or less curved, and also be rotated.
That's awesome, dude!
Or not rotated, but gimbaled. So to get the optimal focus.
You got a plot point for a new Bond movie. Some supervillain's going to take control of it and point the mirror towards the sun and bounce it towards Earth and create a death ray.
Ooh, I like that.
But the mirror is 21 feet in diameter.
Holy
shit! So it's huge. It's so big that it actually folds. the sides of it actually fold over so it could fit in the rocket payload fairing.
Damn.
Oh, the disco ball.
Yeah, no kidding. So here's my question. All right, so this thing, let's say they see back at the beginning of the universe. Mike, what do you think they see?
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, so it can see lots of things, not just that. I mean,
I know, but like just speculative. Like, if what do you think? Just take a stab.
I mean, I really don't know what, I haven't not really boned up on my
Like, just say the Big Bang.
Big Bang
Sheldon.
things.
It's gonna be Sheldon.
Okay, if it's just that guy from the Big Bang Theory,
Yeah, it's just
sitting
gonna
in
be
his apartment.
Sheldon saying "bazinga," and then the universe came into existence.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Yog Sothoth.
Ooh, nice. I like that. I think it's going to be two ass cheeks spread by hands and just the universe coming out of its asshole.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, but the cool thing is it doesn't have to look, that's not the only thing it does because it has multiple instruments. Like, it's actually going to be used for, our solar system planetary sciences too.
Yeah.
They can point it at, whatever the fuck they want to in the inner solar system and look at it.
Jupiter's got a bald spot.
Yeah.
NASA does not believe in unitaskers.
No,
so-
they're like Alton Brown like that.
Not only that, but they have kind of like separate data paths for them to like say, okay, well, here's the ones. If you want to look at this kind of thing, submit your ideas for looking at stuff in the solar system and stuff in other solar systems or other galaxies. And then there's of course there's the deep field, what they call deep field, which is basically look at something that looks like a blank area of sky and just zoom the fuck in as far as you can.
Some tiny little pixel of the sky, and then that's when you get pictures of like billions of galaxies. Yeah. Well, that is freaking awesome. I'm excited that it's getting there. We're gonna get some amazing new photos, and let's just hope that NASA never turns against us.
Yeah. So we have about, let's see here, it's about 25 more days till it reaches its final orbit, and about another 120 days after that till it's fully commissioned. They do all their checkouts and all that good stuff.
Well, I was going to say, that's really close to your birthday.
Well, when it gets there, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
So, yeah.
we'll at least know if everything has gone to plan.
I really hope it does.
Right.
Because it's going to be a hell of a van drive out there to work on it.
No shit.
So, David, what have you got for us?
Okay, I got a really silly one for you, so I'm just going to go ahead and read this to you.
Okay.
Dog and goat found running loose together in South Carolina. December 22nd, United Press International. Authorities in South Carolina said they are trying to find the owner of a lost dog and an accompanying goat. The Anderson County Sheriff's Office said the animal control deputies were dispatched Tuesday when a dog and a goat were spotted running loose in the Martin Creek Road area. The dog and goat, who appear to be companions from the same home, were rounded up and taken to the shelter. The Sheriff's Office said it wants to return the animals to their home. And in an update, yes, the animals were reunited with their owner.
I freaking love that so much. I mean, that's adorable.
Why were the dog and the goat together?
Well, here's the thing. Goats actually make friends with other animals very easily. And I'm going to school you on an idiom real quick. You know the phrase, that really gets my goat?
Yeah.
Okay, so racehorses would get lonely in their stalls, so it was common practice for the owners to get a little goat. And the horse would make a friend, because goats just warm up to other animals really easily.
And isn't it dangerous to have other horses together?
Yes, they will fight.
Yeah.
So what they do is they would get a goat, and if you were an unscrupulous bastard, if you want to make sure a horse was going to lose, you would steal the horse's goat and it would become depressed and perform poorly. So that's where the phrase, that gets my goat, comes from. So goats just make friends with other animals really easily. And,
same thing with dogs, actually.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of the big cats in animal preservation. A lot of the big cats, they partner them up with dogs. You see it a lot. Like, you got these big, like leopards and tigers and that sort of thing, and they'll have a dog that hangs out with them, and the dog and the cat just get along.
So, yeah, I've seen like big cats with dogs. I never really thought about that.
Yeah. I mean, I can send you GIFs of it. I can send you just all these little GIFs and webums of just like cats and dogs hanging out. Like I'm talking about big cats.
Cats and dogs
like
living
cheetahs.
together. Total anarchy.
Mass hysteria.
Damn it, you guys.
It is such a cute little thing, but I'm like,
It
is there
is.
something sinister here? Is the goat... because, goats and dogs are also representative beings in witchcraft is familiar.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean,
So
like,
maybe,
you look in
maybe, like, they're looking
paintings...
for the witch.
I mean, you look in paintings by, like, Hieronymus Bosch, you'll probably see something along those lines. I don't think there's anything sinister going on here. I think this is fucking adorable. And if they are looking for a witch, I hope they find her. Because this is just too damn cute.
I had a family friend who had a goat, and I swear to God, the goat would say "mama."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I had a friend with a talking cat, but
obviously-
that's not nearly as cool.
Well, obviously, like, the goat isn't saying "mama," but like, just
Mama!
they were able to train the goat to. They were able to train the goat to say something close to it. So
Sure. Now, Mike, you have a story about a goat, like a personal story, like some goats.
Yes, I do.
open
Yeah.
that trauma.
So,
Okay, let me preface this. I'm just going to go ahead and lay down that Mike was living on this street near where I was working, and they had when they first moved in, there was a trampoline in the backyard, and that's all I want to start with.
yeah, so there was this trampoline. I mean, I knew what you're getting at. I was going there. But, so there's this trampoline, and my mom, who was, so this was, like, right after my dad passed. So my mom was living, like, away, and she came back, I guess because,
Guilt.
I don't know, guilt, whatever, but to help me and my brother, and we got a house, and we moved in. There was this trampoline in the backyard, perfectly fine trampoline. I mean, it wasn't like old or rotted or anything. We never used it though, because we're a couple of grown ass dudes who wants to jump on a trampoline and have fun and be all carefree and shit.
Warren.
But so she traded the trampoline for a pair of goats, a mama goat and her son goat. And I just come home one day, and so the way this house was set up, like the garage was converted into a room, and that was my room. So I'd come in the side door, and it was like this little like hallway vestibule type thing. So if you turn right, you go into the kitchen. You turn left, you go into my room. You look out straight is the door to the backyard. And so I come in that door, straight out the back door, I see 2 fucking goats in the backyard. So I go to my mom and like, there's goats in the fucking backyard. I mean, I wasn't expecting goats in the motherfucking backyard.
Yeah.
And she's told me she traded the trampoline for it. I'm like, all right. So we lived with these goats for a while. Didn't have to like feed them. They were just ate the fucking grass. And the boy goat had like the biggest nuts you've ever seen. I mean, like, Jesus Christ. It just turned around one day when I happened to be looking at it, and I saw him. I was like, how? I mean,
Good for you.
there was like a quarter of the goat's body weights were his nuts.
Didn't move
And he wasn't
very
even
fast.
a big
Damn.
wasn't even a big goat. He was like, he was like half the size of his mom at this point. So and then, this goes on for a couple of months. Just idyllic life with some goats in the backyard. And I come home one day and the goats are gone. I asked my mom, "Hey, what happened to the goats?" And she tells me she sold them to I'm trying to remember what.
Was he
country.
Nigerian?
I can't remember if it was Nigerian or Ethiopian family.
Okay.
Sold them to an Ethiopian family, and they were going to eat them. I never got close to the goats, so it wasn't no skin off my teeth or anything, but back, whatever you call that saying, that idiom. But Yeah, so that's my goat story. Not super. Is there anything specific you were looking for, Kevin?
No, I just thought it was funny you had a goat story, and we're talking about a goat and a dog.
So,
well, at least this goat didn't get eaten, I presume.
Yeah, no, this goat is being taken care of with the doggy.
The dog got eaten, though.
Oh, that's bad. So, I think it's adorable. And if they're looking for a witch, great. I hope it turns out to be Samantha from Bewitched. Just saying.
Love it.
Yeah. So, I've got another... Okay, here's a quick question before we move on. What do you do if you find a goat and a dog and they're like best buds?
I don't know.
Is this a joke?
No, it's not a joke. I'm just saying, like...
Because I'm like, I can't believe you had that in your repertoire there.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, you know, do you keep them? Do you, like, try to find the owners? Do you call animal control? What do you do?
Give them a stern talking to.
Look, you sons of bitches. Oh.
I mean, if I saw a goat and a dog hanging out, I'd probably call, like, animal control.
Okay.
And, I hope they get reunited with their family, and it looks like, yeah. I mean, if you're missing a dog and a goat, and they like really care for each other and they're best friends, you're gonna do everything you can to find them, because that's a wonderful thing. You don't want to lose that.
You don't want to lose your dog and your goat.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, my last one here that I've got is sciencealert.com. And this is, let's see, it came out 2 days ago. And the original version of this article, again, was first published in August 2018. And this article was actually submitted to us by Man in Black from the Discord. So if you want to submit stories, you can do that in the Discord. So, the title of this one, A Weird Paper Tests the Limits of Science by Claiming Octopuses Come from Space.
Space-a-pusses.
Now, also, I'm not, not to be one of those guys, but isn't it octopi? I thought it was octopi. So, well, anyway.
I have no dog in that hunt.
And here's the interesting thing about it. A total of 33 names were listed as authors on this review, which was published by Progress in Biophysics and Molecular Biology back in August of 2018. Journal is peer-reviewed and fairly well cited, so it's not exactly small, and it's not a niche pay-for-publish source, according to the article. The general idea that this thing is putting forward is that cephalopods somehow came to Earth on a comet or an asteroid. Like, in the form of... Basically, this whole article talks about the concept of panspermia. Are you guys familiar with that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. For those at home, panspermia is the idea that life was seeded here from space, not by aliens or anything, but they're saying that octopus are so unique, not just octopus, but like, cephalopods are so unique on the planet that they can write DNA on the fly, they spit ink, they have these weird ass eyes, are shockingly intelligent, especially octopi. They just, and there's another recent study that said their DNA is just like weird on Earth. And they're saying that they could have been the result of panspermia, like a virus or a retrovirus or fucking octopus eggs or something, coming in from a comet and crashing on Earth in the waters. And, everybody's saying, well, there's no proof that it did or didn't happen. It's just an interesting thought experiment. And I think, why not? I mean, they can regenerate limbs and everything, which is not common unless you're like an amphibian or a worm, and even that could have come from this alien DNA being absorbed by single-celled organisms or something. Who knows? I don't have the science, but it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. I don't think.
I would say that, yeah. I mean, there's that potential, like. I don't imagine it's any form of, like, super... Well, I mean, all life in its way is complex. Just the circumstances that led to the generation of that life. But when I say like non-complex life, I'm talking about like microbes and stuff. Like a microbe hitching a ride on an asteroid. The asteroid heats up in the atmosphere. The microbe reproduces from there. Like I could see that. I could totally see that being a thing.
Yeah. Also, this is the report is titled "Cause of the Cambrian Explosion: Terrestrial or Cosmic?" Which a Cambrian explosion was like just fucking life really branched out and diversified during the Cambrian explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is just saying, hey, let's see. The pulls on existing research to conclude that a reign of extraterrestrial retroviruses played a key role in the diversification of life in our oceans roughly 500 million years ago. I don't see a problem with this being a working theory. God damn it, Mike.
Just, I mean, to have such a large effect on the evolution of a species. I mean, so to say that it somehow this genetic material, I mean, so it's octopus DNA.
Yeah, it says the genetics of the organism, which today include octopi, squid, and cuttlefish, or wait, no, that's not what I'm supposed to be reading. The arrival of whole genomes frozen in stasis before being thawed out in our tepid waters.
But so that's genetic material, but genetic material is not a life form.
Sure, but in a retrovirus.
Yes.
So is there a chance that there's non-Earth-bound DNA somewhere in that mix, basically?
But so what I'm saying is that if that did happen, anything it created would look nothing like whatever it came from.
Okay.
Because say there is a space octopus, like, wherever
Cthulhu.
It is, either on a planet or something, this comet, asteroid, comet, whatever, picked up DNA from it, brought it over to here.
Right.
And then so it crashed on the Earth, and now there's this DNA. Somehow it has to get, retrovirus or whatever into an organism. But that DNA is not going to help this organism because it's completely different than what it is. Like if it gets in a single cell organism, so what? It's not going to, know what to do with this octopus DNA. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of junk, or at least we think of it as junk DNA in organisms because we don't know what it does.
Right.
But
there's a lot of...
But just because we don't know what it does doesn't mean it actually doesn't serve a function.
Unidentified... DNA whose purpose is unidentified currently.
Yeah. So, I'm not saying it's impossible. I don't have the knowledge to say that, but it just seems a little unlikely.
Yeah.
So then what if it's just a single cell organism that, it finds Earth to be conducive to reproducing, and it reproduces, and eventually through evolution you end up getting, the cephalopods. Like, is that possible, you think?
Oh sure, but then it's just it evolved in answer to the conditions of the Earth.
Right.
And therefore the cephalopod was the ideal form for it to take.
Right.
Therefore, if it was left on its home planet, it would have evolved completely differently because it had a separate set of circumstances.
Sure.
I mean, that's completely fair. I think what we're aiming for here, though, is like, is there a chance that some sort of cell or something from outside of Earth could it have grown and thrived here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's totally plausible. I mean, something I've thought of before, too, is...
Shit, what if that's where water bears came from? Tardigrades?
Yeah, or just anything. I mean, there's kind of the thought that, what if life originally came from Mars and was, single-cell organisms hitched a ride over
badass.
Here? And, we don't know.
Yeah.
But the idea that, alien genes somehow
Right.
made their way into, terrestrial. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
octopuses are fucking weird,
Yes.
but I'm assuming there's also the problem of being of little bones.
Yeah.
There is not a whole lot of good archaeological record of them. It's probably very hard to find the, ancient ancestors of modern octopi because
they don't really fossilize
and
well.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, how smart do you think these things are? Do you think they could ever reach near human intelligence?
Octopi?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, octopi are surprisingly smart.
Have you seen The Future is Wild?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to recommend that you check this out. I'm not sure where you can get it. They did a... You know how Discovery
Pretty sure
did...
it's on one of our streaming services
Right.
we have.
You know how Discovery did Walking with Dinosaurs?
Yeah.
And they did Walking with Prehistoric Beasts. They also did one called Alien Planet. Well, The Future is Wild is a docu-series. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's actually a book that is similar to this. The guy did Man After Man, and
Douglas Dixon.
Yeah, he was involved in it.
Yes.
So yeah, sorry.
What the no, it's cool because anytime you get a chance to mention Douglas Dixon, do it. But no, like with The Future is Wild, the whole conceit is that like humans leave Earth on its own, and it checks how animals evolve like 1 million, 10 million, 100 million years in the future. And in the last segment, they introduce the new intelligent life on Earth, which ends up being terrestrial cephalopods.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's one of those things that's like always fascinated me. But like I feel like if we weren't around, they would take over. Like, and this is like hundreds of millions of years in the future or whatever. But like they seem like the potential successors for like the most intelligent, like to be able to create some form of rudimentary civilization.
Sure.
I think all the primates would have to die out for that because without humans, I think another primate, because they're just so close.
Oh, they cover that in the future.
Talk about that.
Like the mammals die off completely.
Oh,
by like 100 million years. Like the final mammals, they're like guinea pig-like animals that are essentially farmed by spiders. It's weird. Like the spiders will create like these little areas for these little guinea pigs to feed, and then they would feed on the guinea pigs.
Oh wow, that's fucked up.
It's creepy as shit, man. I love it. Like,
I need to check that out. But I mean, like, I got to thinking, well, what about dolphins? And I realized, it's really easy when you just like fucking you're an octopus and you just fucking plug up that blowhole. Yeah, I'm glad we both went there.
You just plug that hole and that dolphin's over with.
Yeah, no, or you just like squeeze in there and like fucking throttle its brain and come out the mouth like a monster.
Like a suit.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. A split submarine. Oh my god, dude.
Just octopi using dolphins as like horses.
My wife just came out into here and she's just looking at me. She has no context what's going on. She's just shaking her head like, what the fuck?
And this is why we love our significant others. So, here's the thing. Do you know why I think octopi are definitely foreign DNA from the Earth?
Sure.
Because on Earth, nature wants everything to be a crab.
Well, that's,
Nature abhors a crab vacuum.
Yeah, but these are octopus.
I know.
I'd rather have crab rangoon than crab vacuum.
Kevin, guess what octopus eat? Crabs.
And that's why they're an invasive species.
No. They just evolved to eat Earth's most common, bug.
Sure, but do you remember what we were talking about earlier with how stupid crustaceans are?
Oh God, they're so dumb.
I mean, like seriously.
I was marveling at the fact that you don't really hear about any kind of invertebrate that has an exoskeleton, be it bugs or you don't find smart ones. Really, they're all pretty stupid.
Well, what about ants?
Well, that's
I think that's
a
like,
it's a different intelligence, though. It's like
a hive mind. But lobsters don't have hive minds.
I'm just saying that
we're still talking about things with shells, though.
I'm saying,
okay.
So you have, some pretty smart birds. You have some pretty, octopus are smart. There's a lot of, mammals there are a lot of mammals that can, be shown to have different levels of intelligence.
Yeah, God, never give a chimp a machine gun.
But no matter how big...
We've seen those movies.
No matter how big a crustacean gets, it's just dumb as fuck.
Like somewhere in the background, Mother Nature's sitting there going, you know what this planet needs? Pissed off rocks.
I mean, admittedly, I guess there are some kind of smart reptiles.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I've never heard of a crustacean being described as even as smart as, a goldfish. Like, goldfish, they say, have, a very short memories. Not as short as most people. Most people say, 15 seconds or something.
That's
but
not true.
They can, memorize and remember things through their life. Not a whole lot, but...
Yeah.
But I've never heard of anybody training, a crab.
It's like, all right, Hercules the crab, I want you to learn this thing. Don't pull your arm off. He pulled his arm off. God damn it.
My speculation was that, they have to, in order to grow, they have to molt their exoskeleton. Maybe that's just too much, energy, because you got to basically think, if you had to rip off your skin every time you wanted to grow, that's a lot of energy to go into.
Sounds like a Clive Barker story.
Oh my God.
Well, lizards shed their skin, but that's because they don't. I mean, people, we shed our skin. It's just
slowly,
a little bit at a time, little flakes off, whereas they do it all at once. But
that's the difference between science and horror. Science is okay, you got to shed your skin. Horror is when it comes off in one big chunk immediately.
And, and there's a screaming bloody mass underneath.
Or you're just this soft shelled, thing that now has to harden its own skin again, or else it has no bones.
Oh my gosh.
That's a nightmare.
So I was just thinking that maybe that you having to regrow your skin every so often probably is a big energy sink, and what is not conducive to smart brains.
Energy
a lack
usage.
of energy, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it
takes a lot of energy for this brain meat.
I'm kind of okay with that, because the last thing I want is an intelligent crab that knows I'm looking at it thinking you're delicious.
Crab people.
They'd be cool with me because I'm not eating them mud bugs.
Oh, I love to eat those things. I mean, seriously, when you think about it, they're just kind of armor-plated nervous systems. That's pretty much it. It's just... And I looked at a crab. Okay, we got this Asian restaurant / grocery store called Mr. Chin's. Fantastic food, and it's fun going through there. But the trough of crabs, for lack of a better term, is just depressing. Because I'm looking at one, and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" And he looks up at me, and he just pulls his fucking arm off. I'm like, shit, you're hardcore. I'm gonna leave you.
Don't want to fuck with that one.
Yeah, no, I'm not fucking around with this dude.
That's a real power move there.
Yeah, no, seriously. Can you imagine you're just sitting there in the bus stop and it's like, hey, how you doing today, sir? Dude pulls his fucking left arm off and stares at you the whole time. That is I'm not fucking with that dude. I don't care if he's just skinny as hell. I'm not fucking with him.
That's the ultimate flex.
It really is.
I mean, pro tip, if you ever get robbed, just pull your own arm off. They won't fuck with you then, will they?
Yeah, no shit. So, all right, that was mine. Mike, what else you got there?
So not a whole lot. So, I haven't been able to find a whole lot of... I read this thing, but I can't find the original source, so
that's okay.
Take this with a grain of salt.
Let's go with hearsay.
But so do you know what Tabby Starr is?
Is that a jazz musician?
No.
What is Tabby Starr?
So also known as, wow, that's a word, Boya Jane Star and What the Fuck or WTF Star. what the fuck star.
Is this the one?
This is the one that was seen to be dimming.
Right.
And they didn't know why.
And we thought it might be the artificial structure.
Well, so there was several theories. That was one of them. So that was a couple of years ago, right? Like early, maybe last year or something. So something they have found, it's not really much of a change on this one, although I think the periods are not, from year to year. Well, not year. Obviously, the year for this star is going to be different than our year. But over a long enough time, you'd expect the patterns to repeat regularly, right?
Sure.
Right.
As if it is something orbiting like a dust cloud or something. Well, it doesn't seem to be lining up too much. But the other thing is we're starting to see other stars in, I can't say the same vicinity. They're not like close by, but if you know.
Same region?
The same. If you look at that area of the sky, other stars in that kind of similar area. We're still talking about, vast distances cosmically, but other stars are they're seeing the same thing, but only in that area. Like if you look off, way behind you at stars over there, you're not seeing it happen like that.
So you're telling me the universe is running out of power?
Could be.
I think they pulled one of the stars out, put the blinker star in.
Oh, yeah. Just blinking over there.
Mm-hmm. Like
you and your Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another thought though. What of its eyes?
No, they're just dimming very slightly.
It's blinking. That's all.
But no, they're all the same kind of similar stars. They're all main sequence stars, and of the same sort of composition and life
expectancy.
Well, not expectancy, but period in their lifespan.
Right.
Because
maybe it's a type 2 civilization. Where they're able to kind of like use stars as energy. So it just could be a large star field being used to power a civilization.
That's way better than my theory, which is the fuse is going out.
Yeah. I mean, that would be exciting if it was. But this is another thing that, our hero and savior, as long as it works right, the James Webb telescope can, look at.
Yeah.
And undoubtedly, there is a time scheduled to look at this.
Yeah.
Phenomenon.
Well, I imagine there's a nice queue of things like, look at this, look at that, look at this.
Oh yeah, it's good though because the James Webb, because where it is, its field of view, not to go back all James Webb talking again, but just because of where it is, it only has a very small area of the sky. Not small, but it has a field of view it can look at, and it changes throughout the year. So, it can look at this part of the year, and then look at something else as it swings around.
It makes you wonder how long that list of things they want to look at is.
Oh, it's probably, if it's anything like what I've seen with Hubble, they'll never run out of things to look at.
I'm just thinking about how long it would take the Google Doc to load for the list.
Oof. Yeah, I would like to see that list. I don't think it's like public right now.
It's just absolutely fascinating, though. Just that people don't give NASA enough credit for what they're able to do, and that telescope is going to like revolutionize things in a way that like I don't think a lot of people really understand. Yeah,
I mean, just so the Hubble was revolutionary enough, in its capability. It's a limited capability that it's still a valuable asset even today. Some I think 30 years after it launched. It's when it was having trouble, like earlier this year, or was it last year? It was having reaction wheel troubles, which the reaction wheels, you can think of them as just big gyroscopes that help point the telescope. It uses basically spinning wheels, and just like, a bicycle wheel, if you spin it, you hold it, and you like turn the wheel, it makes you, imparts a force on you. Well, it does that for all its fine pointing That way it's not, burning fuel. Well, it started having trouble with its reaction wheels, and it was a big deal. People were starting to freak out that the Hubble was going to be, unusable within, months. But luckily they figured out how to work around the problems and to actually get them back working again.
They hit it with a hammer.
Yeah. A space hammer. They just threw rocks at it from a distance.
Yep. Pretty much just they cavemanned it.
They H.G. Wells that shit and shot a cannon. They hit it with a rock.
I still don't see why we didn't develop the space cannon as a way to get into space, but that's me.
Because people like to arrive in orbit not as toothpaste.
Ah, damn it.
So what do you guys think? So Tabby Star, I mean, I'm not saying it can't be aliens. I want it to be aliens. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, the pessimist in me has to be like, it's not going to be that cool. It's just going to be like clouds of dust or something boring like that. What do y'all think? Anyone here thinks it's aliens?
Well, I would love for it to be a Type 2 civilization, but I have a question. How many billions of years in the past, when we look at that, how many billions of years in the past?
Let's see here. See if I can find how. It is 1,400 light years from Earth.
Oh, shit.
So we're looking at its past, 1,400 years ago. Almost 1,500 years.
That's actually not that.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. It's pretty close.
In the past.
It's not as bad as I thought.
It's in the constellation Cygnus.
Ooh, cool.
Cygnus nuts.
Oh, that's your one.
Damn. So, like, obviously, it would be amazing if it's like a Type 2 civilization that's harvesting stars. Also, extremely terrifying. I was gonna say if it was billions of years in the past, it may be that those stars are just dying, but I guess that wouldn't be the case.
I think. What if? And of course, I hope it's aliens. I mean, that's all three of us are like, I hope it's aliens, but. What if it's like some kind of bizarre dimming effect caused by dark matter?
Oh, what was that? I just saw that's something I couldn't remember. So go ahead.
Well, that's it. That was it. Just so like some kind of dark matter thing. I hear typing.
Like a fog of dark matter? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know if dark matter works that way.
I don't know. Dark dust. Who knows? We don't really know anything about dark matter, so maybe it does, maybe it doesn't.
Oh, I just saw a thing about dark matter, and I can't remember what it said.
Well, that's not very helpful right now.
No, it's not. It turns out there is no dark matter. It's all just Jesus.
Jesus is huge.
He's huge and takes up a vast portion of the universe. So
I think I don't think it could be dark matter because by its understood nature, it's unobservable. It doesn't interact, especially with light, the way we expect matter to. That's why it's called dark matter, because it doesn't seem to obstruct light or give off light.
Could it just be like dust and gas?
Yeah, so...
Wait. Now, before you go explaining the dust gas thing, are you telling me that dark matter is basically made-upium?
Well, yeah. I mean, dark matter isn't anything we know about. Dark matter is a name we've given something for a phenomenon we don't understand yet.
Okay, well...
we see a phenomenon that would be explained by matter, but we don't see matter. So it's either the matter is dark and it is unobservable,
okay,
or there is a phenomenon we don't understand.
Okay, let me throw this out there, all right? Let's say that we're living in a simulation for a second, right?
Okay.
And Mike, do you remember we had a friend that worked on like the one of the Conan MMOs?
Sort of. Okay. I did not know he worked on that, but okay.
Yeah. Well, one of the things they did for random monster generation, because of the engine they were using, they couldn't like just have monsters come out of nowhere, and they couldn't just have like a spawn point thing because of the way the game worked. the publisher wanted the game to work. So what they did was they made invisible wizards that would travel around the board and just summon monsters.
So a lot of games surprisingly use a hacky thing like that.
Okay, well, what if that's what dark matter is? It's just invisible wizards.
I mean, so maybe. I mean, in the sense that it could be a thing that manifests effects like matter, but is actually,
bullshittium.
Could be vibrating, strings.
Oh, I don't want it to be string theory. I
know.
hate string theory.
Could be vibrating butts. Butt theory.
Thank you. Butt theory I can get behind.
But no, just a tangent, the game thing, a lot of game systems, especially Bethesda games, use hacky workarounds like that.
No. Like, if there's a voice coming from nowhere, there's a room underneath you with, like, a NPC that's doing the voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Fallout 3.
Fallout 3?
Yes.
That was a video game.
There was a train vehicle or something like that. There was something, I'm trying to remember. Maybe it was New Vegas. But in one of the Fallout games, there was a train or some form of vehicle that moved.
Oh, I remember
And
this.
Because of the engine they were running on, it didn't have a non-character entity. And the easiest way they could figure out to do it was to give an NPC a helmet that looked like a train and have it run under the ground. And you just saw the helmet above ground.
So you were sitting in a dude's
Well,
head.
no, you couldn't sit in it. It wasn't a occupiable vehicle, but it was a thing you saw go by in a, not a cutscene, but in an overworld event.
Fucking helmet.
And it's a fucking helmet on an NPC. Because Gamebryo.
Yeah. So
Stupid Gamebryo tricks.
yeah.
Could be a whole podcast.
That would be fun. So, all right, Mike. Thank you for that.
And stuff like that is some of the thoughts behind simulation theory. It's like, which we have an episode where we've tossed around doing.
We're doing it next week, actually.
Next week? I thought it was, well, I guess next week is next month. But
Yeah. Well,
The bill got pushed up.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about that next week. So consider that a little preview. I'm going to be talking about the brain in a jar theory. I don't know what David's going to be talking about. Clark's got the whole simulacrum thing going, and then Mike's going to tell us why we're all a bunch of idiots.
No, but I will punch holes in the theories as
Sure.
My best layperson grasp of science can do.
Sure. Now, David, have you got another story for us?
I do have one last story. It's another cute one. I felt cute this week.
Good, because,
Feeling cute, I don't know, may,
delete
do a
podcast later.
Okay, so in Oita, Japan, and I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation of that.
Of course you are.
We're familiar with onsens, right? We've seen
The
anime
bathhouses, right? The things where you can...
The hot springs.
Yeah, the hot
I wanna
spring
go.
bathhouse. I would love to.
So Oita is famous for onsens, but they're also going to become a spaceport in 2022.
I think
Really?
I heard something about that, yeah.
So
How the hell's
I'm
that?
gonna.
Is this
I'm
like...
gonna read. Oh.
But before you go on, they're gonna be... Is this like Jackson has an international airport because they got the name off of an international house of pancakes?
That's not true.
I will go ahead and read this Google translation, and it's going to
Okay.
give us all of our answers.
Please do.
Okay, so Oita Airport becomes Asia's first horizontal spaceport. Rocket launch in 2022. Do you know spaceport? A spaceport is a port for people and artificial satellites to go to space. In 2020, Oita Airport signed a partnership with Virgin Orbit of the United States. It has become a horizontal spaceport that launches rockets equipped with artificial satellites horizontally in the air instead of vertically. In 2022, we are aiming to launch the first artificial satellite from Oita Airport and to launch 20 times in 10 years. There is good reason for Oita, Space Nuancen.
Horizontal spaceport just makes me think of the horizontal mambo.
It makes me wonder if that's being translated correctly.
Onsen space sex.
Onsen space sex. Wait. Did they do that? Was that what Space Dandy was about?
Probably.
Okay.
So, yeah, they signed a deal with Virgin Orbit, and the idea is that they will... that takeoff where they have a plane that carries the rocket, and then the rocket takes off.
Ah.
So that's what this place is. So this airport is becoming a spaceport, but in order to promote this, because this prefecture has very popular onsens, and then it also has this coming spaceport, they are promoting it with a new mascot who is a gray, one of the alien.
Yes.
If you go to the website, you get a link to the Instagram, which is adorable. And they also filmed all these promotional videos with, like, secret camera footage of an alien. Mm-hmm. So they have an alien who's in the hot spring bath.
Oh, that's adorable.
Onsen Prefecture crop circle. UFO discovery and captured alien photo. Yep. So it's very cute, and it's this guy, because Japan loves their mascots.
Oh God, they got a mascot for everything. I have a mascot in Japan.
Follow the I think it's called Mondo Mascots Twitter account, and it just gives you all the different mascots from all the different Japanese companies.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, this prefecture, their new mascot is this gray. And they've been doing these little videos and photos, and it's so adorable. He's so cute.
It is. Like, it's not terrifying at all. I was expecting it to be a lot worse, but I did think it was funny. Japanese spaceport onsen, and let's have the mascot be the sexual molestation alien.
Well, and it's great because, like, the first photo they upload to the Instagram is this little alien in the little onsen tub, and he's got his little towel on his head,
which is great.
And then the second one, he's sitting there eating looks to be like a chicken dish in a restaurant, and he's just it's very cute. I'm sorry, I can't help but love it.
Well, I mean, I love the captured alien photo here, where it's like just this adorable little gray with this couple. It's just like he's so excited to be there. Oh, it's not a couple. It's a couple of older Japanese ladies holding his hands. It's just cute.
Well, and when we talked about the Flatwoods Monster, like, we talked about how Japan is, like, super interested in UFOs and stuff. Yeah. And this is just kind of another example of that thing. And it's cool that they're going with, like, that traditional kind of gray iconography here.
Yes, I love that. The only way it'd be better is if, like, the Flatwoods Monster did in fact show up for a crossover.
And I especially love the little logo they have. If you take a look at the website, where it's a combination of it looking like it's in a UFO, but it's also in the onsen with a little steam above its head. Mm-hmm. Like, I love that, and I would love to see that as, like, a tattoo.
Yeah,
that's so cute. Oh my God,
I know, it's really cool. It's one of those things where, like, if I had my druthers, I'd go there as part of the Weird Shit World tour. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to do that.
I'd go to all the weird Japanese things. I'm pretty sure there's lots of weird things.
Yeah.
I have a YouTube channel for anyone who's listening to check out. Abroad in Japan. There's a British YouTuber named Chris Broad, and he's been living in Japan, but he's been doing these incredible videos.
Yeah.
He did did you see his Journey Across the Japan series where he biked down Japan?
I didn't, but Kit has shown me some of his videos because she's always finding interesting videos about Japan to show me.
Oh, you totally need to see his set that he had built.
This isn't the same.
Most jealous motherfucker. It will make you the most jealous person on earth.
This isn't the same guy that plays the traditional Japanese string instrument, is it?
No, this is a British gentleman who's living in Japan. But he made his own, like, he ordered, he had set builders, like professional set builders, build himself a set in his studio, and it's like a combination of, like, 1980s Tokyo streets with neon, and he has a noodle bar, and then in the background there's, like, Blade Runner, like, cityscape loop in the background.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it is the most incredible thing. So if you get a chance to check out Chris Broad at Abroad in Japan, totally worth it. Like his videos have been so much fun.
I'm gonna go check it out after we're done.
Yeah.
Actually,
He also does, yeah, like I remember when I first stumbled onto the channel, I watched like 5 of those videos at like 3 in the morning. I'm just sitting on my couch, just like, oh, this is so fucking cool.
Yeah, I liked James May's Japan tour series. I forget what it's called, but I just like, and who doesn't like James May?
that's very true.
So it was a little, it was very, light and,
I think they did one of those idiot abroads with Ricky
think you're
Gervais
right.
and Carl
Oh, yeah.
Pilkington in Japan as well. Those were always fun.
Yeah, those were. So, yeah, I would love to go to that thing. But, so, all that being said, we've got one more segment to go because we don't have questions this week. I did not have time to put out a call for questions. But that's okay because this week, this segment, X gonna give it to you.
X gonna give it to you. What?
All right.
Alrighty, so the thread I picked, I'm not going to read the question yet, but I'm going to describe what the picture is, and then you tell me what the context is.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so, we're familiar with SpongeBob SquarePants, I assume.
Yes.
Do we remember the episode that depicts Patrick riding a quarter machine, like seahorse, in the middle of a void?
Okay, let me explain. I am familiar with SpongeBob SquarePants, but that does not mean I have watched SpongeBob SquarePants.
I've seen like a double handful of episodes, maybe. So, not a lot.
You disappoint me, gentlemen. Okay, so there's an episode where SpongeBob jumps into the dreams of the different people in Bikini Bottom. And when he gets into Patrick's dream, it's just Patrick sitting in a void on one of those little, like, 25-cent rocking...
Yeah,
like the little horse things.
in front of grocery stores that your mom would put you on to keep you shut you up while she, like, went and got a pack of smokes.
Yep.
Not a specific memory at all.
So it's a picture of that, but the thread question is, what are dreams? So, what are dreams?
What are dreams?
Yeah, I got an answer.
Please go for it.
Yeah,
So,
go for it while I think.
The way I always, understand dreams to be from, both what I've read and my own experiences, your dreams are where you process a lot of shit. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happens throughout your day and your life that you just don't, completely process. You don't work through it all. And
Like why your uncle touched you in that place.
Oh,
yeah, I get it.
But your dreams are where your brain tries to figure that shit out. It's just kind of, it's sorting. It's going through your shit and like, I don't need that. I don't need that uncle touching me thing. I need this, 80s jingle from a fast food chain that went out of business in 1993.
Why is it so goddamn important?
Yeah, exactly. Because it made me feel something.
Yeah, that wasn't a hand in a bad place.
But also it try to gather my thoughts here. Also kind of simulation, because I notice a lot of times my dreams, especially the more stressful ones, I wouldn't call them nightmares exactly, but they seem to be
dreams.
Yeah, they seem to be throwing me into situations where I have to like figure something out.
Or something that's extrapolated through something that you're going through at the time.
Yeah. And so it's just your brain trying to be like, okay, if the nuclear bombs drop, what the fuck am I going to do?
Okay.
That's kind of what I think of it. It's just your brain, in its computational weirdness trying to make sense of the world and make, prepare for the future as best it can.
What about you, Kevin?
There have been times where I'm kind of on Mike's page. I do think that is part of the process. I also think it's sort of like running a defrag on your hard drive, where it is sorting through data and committing it.
Because the axiom sleep on it, definitely has truth.
Somewhere. Yeah.
No, I mean, you do something and while you keep trying some things on a difficult task, it just doesn't come to you. You literally sleep on it, and then the next day it's just like easy as fuck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. I think that also, and Mike's gonna just poo-poo all over this because I'm about to talk about a bunch of woo-woo stuff. I think that dreams are also sort of a connecting up with the collective unconscious to a degree. And maybe some data is stored in the cloud, maybe some data is downloaded from the cloud, as it were. And I hate that we keep using fucking internet terms for this, or in computer terms. But like, here's the thing. I thought dreams were like Mike was talking about until I started being able to have lucid dreams, and I started going, well, that's interesting. Like, I'm in a dream, I'm completely asleep, I'm having this thing, but I'm aware I'm in a dream because the situation just, my brain won't accept the situation, so fuck it, I'm gonna fly. So, like, I'll fly and start doing stuff and be aware, yeah, I'm in a dream, I'm having fun, yeah, woo! But also, and I know Mike's gonna say, false memory or something, but like, when I was young, real young, I had a dream that I was standing, and Mike, you've heard this story, right?
Probably.
Okay. We have a department store chain in the southeast, based out of North Carolina, called Rose's. And I had a dream that I was on the back aisle of our local Rose's talking to a little short guy about Star Wars. I was like, that's weird.
Was it me?
No.
Oh.
But the day I was standing on the back aisle next to a pallet of bleach talking to a short guy that used to be a friend of mine about Star Wars, and I remember that dream because I remember the dream like prior to that. It's not like a suddenly, I wasn't having like deja vu. It's one of those weird dreams. I always wonder what the hell it meant because it's like it's oddly specific. And I was like, oh no, why couldn't it have been lottery numbers?
I mean, I just don't think the future's predictable.
I think little shit's predictable. I don't think you can predict like major. I don't know if you can predict major events or whatnot. But like, I
do believe you dreamt that, but it was such a generic dream.
Sure,
that any situation could have, a bunch of situations could have filled it.
And I agree that yes, it's incredibly vague.
Probably a combination of a vague memory and then a deja vu moment at the same time.
Sure. I can see that.
I had a similar thing happen, so I don't remember when it was. So I know the vague time period. I think I was still working security, but okay, so need some backstory. For a very repeating environment in my dreams is the Jackson Zoo. I think I went there when I was like really young. Because I not constantly, but at least one or two times a year have a dream that I remember that's set there. And at the time, I think this was after I had worked at Rose's, but I was working security. So I had a dream when I was still working at the big security company, probably the biggest security company in the world, but at a local thing. I had a dream I was at the Jackson Zoo working security, but with a friend we had from Rose's, Derrican.
Oh, man.
But this was before I got a job as security at the Jackson Zoo. Like a couple years later, I ended up working there just because a friend posted a link to that or their hiring page, and I was looking for work. So the details don't, because in the dream I was sitting in a car with this other person that was also working security, and we're sitting at the front gate. But it didn't like happen exactly like that. But it was a very similar kind of. I dreamt something that did technically happen.
Right. What if it's like that one scene in the actual novel of Dune where where Paul gets out and he's looking out at the desert and he's like, "This isn't exactly like the dream. Duncan was with us." Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
See, I'm more along the lines of like, yeah, it's your brain kind of processing information and like trying to like make sense of it in its own weird way. With my dreams, the most common thing that I have in that is just the way that space operates within my dreams. It's akin to like not being in actual places, but rather everything is a set and all the sets are connected. So like I'll be in like a living room. And then, like, I'll go through a doorway, and all of a sudden, I'll find myself in high school. Like, the two sets are connected. It's one of those weird things that, like, it's a common thing in my dream where it freaks me out, man. It's so weird because I love, like, facial ambiguity and, like, horror and media because it's disorienting and everything like that. And I think that's just the way my brain operates.
Interesting.
Yeah. My environments seem to be very malleable in that I don't remember moving a lot, but they'll like change while I'm just doing something. Even the people like just change.
Yeah, a lot of my dreams involve like actually going from like one location to a next, and it's just like, okay, I turn a corner and we're on the new set. I mean, that's what it feels like. It's very weird.
It's like I'm talking to someone, and then I turn to talk to someone else, and I'm like in a different location. But of course, it doesn't. I will say I am jealous of your lucid dreaming, Kevin, because every time I realize I'm dreaming and start to lucid dream, I wake up.
Oh,
I don't know how to explain it. It's like it really comes from like realizing you're in a dream, but not being shocked that you're in a dream. And you don't.
I realize I'm in a dream, and I'm like, hey, I get to do the thing. And I like. Okay, so either two things that happen. Of course, I've just about every time, like everyone else, I try to fly. Either I wake up or I lose control of the dream and subliminate back into the dream, and the dream just continues, and I have no control.
Well, like when I
sublimate, that's what I want to say.
When it happens with me, the first time it happened, I was having this dream involving like Alice in Wonderland or something. I was shrinking and I was terrified. And I was like, this is a dream. I don't have to do this. And I grabbed a couple of blades of grass and pulled myself back up to regular size. And I couldn't get any height, but I could, like, hover.
I thought you were going to gain, like, width, and you're just, like, really wide boy.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. I became... width man, but I was
sat on your universe as it sat in the box.
Yes, exactly.
That episode of Futurama.
Yes, just like Futurama, where they pulled the universe into its own box. So, anyway, I just start shooting along the ground like flying, like something out of Dragon Ball Z. And then after that, I started to like gradually be able to do it more frequently, but it's always when it's like something I'm not like comfortable with or upsets me. And like when I do slip back into it being a dream, the last time it happened, I realized it was a dream, so I like jumped off the ground and started flying, and like I lost control of the dream again, but I kept the superpowers. So it was kind of interesting.
You know what would be really neat? Next time we have our dreams, I think we should all write them down, and we should just do an episode where we like a little bonus thing where we describe those dreams.
Sure, I'll go get my dream journal back out.
Yeah. I do have some comments from this thread that I would like to read, if that's okay.
Absolutely. And Mike, you cool with trying to write down dreams?
Sure.
Awesome.
I think it would just be an interesting little thought experiment. Just
sure.
Yeah, then we can psychoanalyze each other. That won't lead to problems.
If we got enough material, hell, we could do a whole episode on it.
We could do a whole
we'll get a ton of
episode
stuff
on
from Kevin.
dreams. Yeah, and then we could just sit there and go, wow, you're
I'm
fucking nuts. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'm just going to read a couple of comments here, and then feel free to share your thoughts on this.
Sure thing.
So this first one I have to read is in an accent because of a specific word that they used. Dreams are impartial, spontaneous products of the unconscious psyche outside of the control of the will. So they obviously did the
Sigmund.
instead of the.
Well, I was going to say is, now when you say the will, is it the triumph of the will?
Ooh, I hope not.
I
but
hope
it's
not
4chan,
as well.
So probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a good one. In a reply to that thread, what are dreams?
Mm-hmm.
Some can be messages from higher self to lower self. Some can be represented. Some can be represent objective obstacles. Some are trivial blobs of information. All are to be judged by you subjectively. If there is interest in them, document. Start a journal. Upon waking up, write down all discernible details. After this, simply reflect on the possible meanings. Which, aside from like the grammatical issues, is actually kind of interesting advice.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, definitely the interpretation thing, but never get a book about it.
Right.
Because I had 1,001 dreams interpreted, and let me tell you something, that is some bullshit.
Yeah, because the symbology of a dream is really only important to you.
Yeah, I mean, there are like certain archetypes, but like
a cat in a dream to me means a completely different thing to say anyone else that maybe doesn't like cats.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Warren, if Warren had a dream about cats, it's not a good dream.
It'd be I'm uncomfortable because they make me miserable.
All right. I got two more comments here. So
Great.
seems like a probable vehicle for interface with psychic forces, whatever they are. No one will convince me there's nothing paranormal, potentially in more ways than one, about the bizarre stream of hallucinations, which absolutely are influenced by our subconscious. But what is that, and are its mechanics purely internal?
You can't answer a question with more questions.
Yeah, well, see, so the problem is yeah, I mean, we don't know until we can, know exactly what's going on in the head meat of people. It's all conjecture and guesstimations until we basically map it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The only power in dreams is what you ascribe to them.
Yeah, it's like a Rorschach test.
Sort of.
So if you have a dream and if it motivates you to accomplish something, accomplish something like good, then yeah, I mean that dream was powerful, but that's kind of like
Right.
an after the fact sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and then here's the last one.
Okay.
For me, there are things that make you really depressed when you wake up and realize they were just dreams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me an example, Mike.
They're kind of sad.
Oh. Okay.
Like I've
Dad stuff?
No. It's a little more. I wouldn't say pathetic, but
I know what you mean. Okay.
but it's no. I was just gonna say it's I'm the single guy here, and I've had several dreams where it's like meeting an awesome person, and you wake up and oh, it was just a dream. Yeah.
Oh, it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
Art.
Well, I had one that I was in this incredible world full of like futuristic castles and paving stones, and it was like teleportation and all this amazing stuff, and there was a robed figure with me. And for the first time, I felt like I'd actually found where I was supposed to be. I felt normal, and everyone around was like, they weren't like me, but everybody was like weird like me. Like you could tell by the way they were acting and the things they were interested in, and it was like really cool. And then it turned into my backyard, and I was like,
Did they get really excited about Christmas lights? Is that how you knew?
shut up. But also, while I was in that world, the whatever it was in the hood looked at me and said, "This is where you're actually from. This is your home. This is your home world." And when I ended up back in the backyard, I was like, why would you take me from there? Why would you even show me that? And he pulled the thing back, and of course it was the Grim Reaper's skull, and he just looked at me and was like, I'm sorry. And then I woke up.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
And I was so fucking depressed for the next week.
We're gonna have to do a dream episode.
Yeah.
My experience was I dreamt that I had gotten a full-time position at the college, and then I woke up and I was just a lot of my dreams, amazingly, are all like financial anxiety dreams.
I have had a few where, you know, it's like dream job kind of, you know, situations. You know, I think I probably had at least one or two where I dreamt, you know, I was like rich or something, and kind of sad to wake up to. But you had mentioned the dad thing, but I have had dreams about people that have passed, and they tend to not, when I wake up, I tend to not be sad about it.
You know, I'm the same way. I think,
like, well, I saw them again.
You know,
it's got to be cathartic.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the and I'm going to save like more details about this for the dream episode when we do it, but I think the worst nightmare I've ever had, and maybe the worst one Mike ever had, was that my mom was alive.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the worst nightmare, but it was a bit stressful. It was a stress dream.
Oh, well, mine was a nightmare, like full on. She was, and not like zombie. Like she had just been gone.
Yeah, and I've had the same dream, and it was a little just like, oh God, she's back. It wasn't even back. It's just kind of like I knew there was this dread feeling. It's like in the dream I didn't know she was supposed to be gone, or maybe it was like, why is she, not like I knew she was dead, but it's like she was gone before. Why? Yeah. What happened?
Now, and the thing is, David, we're both talking about my mom.
Yeah, his mom.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, his mom was a bit of work.
We'll talk about this during the dream episode when we do that, which I'm excited about that now. This is going to be a great episode when we do it. But you were going to say something else, Mike?
Not really. I mean, she wasn't like super horrible, but it was...
If you had seen her, you'd know.
Oh, yeah. Well, she kind of did look like something a leash would... or she looked like a lich.
A lich. She looked like a lich.
A necromancer would have rose.
From the disco era, yes.
Yeah. Disco necromancer.
Yeah.
Disco necro.
I like that. Okay, so... All right. Last thing I want to ask both of you real quick. Just a quick, fun question before we wrap up. Mike, you've said head meat several times. Mike, what kind of meat do you think is in your head? What kind of meat product?
Gosh.
Is it bologna?
No, it's not bologna.
Beef.
Potted meat.
Potted meat?
Yes.
You get potted meat.
The little can you open up and spread on crackers. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, David, what kind of meat's in your head?
Little Smokies wrapped in bacon, dipped in barbecue sauce.
God, son of a bitch.
Fuck!
Can I change my answer?
No.
God damn it.
Okay, and mine is cotto salami. You know, with little peppercorns in it.
I do like a good
I hate those. I hate biting into those peppercorns.
Oh, I love it.
They're like bursts of pain and mace.
Burning. Yeah, I love it. But you do have the best meat in your head, David. just so you know, you won the head that was an
option.
Yeah, well...
It would have been like, you know, my head is a slow cooker full of meatballs or something.
Ooh, that would have been nice. All right, well, look, thanks for listening, everybody. That's been our... I almost said our dream episode. Shit, nope. We talked about dreams so much.
It's just the Weekend Weird.
That's been the Weekend Weird for this week. We'll be back next week with simulation theory and the simulacrum. So... let's see, David, what you got to plug?
I'm going to go ahead and plug Kids Stuff, my Chucky podcast. We just did an episode that's like top 5 kills from the franchise with my guest, Jada Gonzalez.
Awesome.
A lot of fun. Show's probably going to be like monthly from here on out because I don't have to do an episode every week.
Woohoo! All right. Mike, anything you got coming up on this show you want to talk about?
No, but I would like to plug my ears. La, 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 I can't hear you. La, 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 la.
All right. And, of course, you can find me here every week with my fellow hosts. And just remember, if you want to get in touch with us or find out anything at all, you can find all our information at supernatpod.rocks. You can hit us up on Twitter at SuperNatPod. You can find us on Facebook at SuperNatPod. Don't forget to join us on our Discord. There is a link on the website. Thank you guys for being here. As always, it has been super fun doing the show with you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So that's about it. So tune in next week for more fun. And until then, stay safe and stay frosty. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Reality is an illusion. Buy gold.
Don't forget to buy gold Schlager and send it into Cash for Gold and make them send the booze back.
Yes.